Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is a rainy day, as you can see. I kind of just wanted to get on here and give you guys a small update for everything going on with my son. Just want to let you guys know the scoop a little bit. So, last year, I believe it was last year, I made a video talking about my son basically being diagnosed with autism. I used the wrong words, the wrong language basically when I spoke about his autism, because he really wasn't diagnosed, because a pediatrician basically just told me that he had some concerns about autism, but I guess he wasn't diagnosed because from what I understand now, he has to be seen by a neurologist and he has to, go through a certain series of tests from a professional, not a pediatrician, an actual, neurologist. He has to see one to be really diagnosed, but I was kind of confused back then because, this is my first child and, nobody prepares you for autism, special needs, any sort of, disabilities or, diagnoses when it comes to your children. You're just not prepared. So I guess my son was never really diagnosed with autism. So the pediatrician had his concerns, and so I had my son in speech therapy last year, and he was also getting something called special instruction, which I spoke about in the last update video I did about him. But, he hasn't really officially been diagnosed with really anything. They just had some suspicions about autism. So all this time I pretty much had it in my head that he was autistic, but there's not really like a set diagnosis yet. So my son turned 3 in December, and so they told me that the services that he was getting were through the state when he was 2. So now that he's 3, he's going to be getting services through the district. So I had to do a bunch of paperwork with that. And so there was a huge delay because we speak multiple languages in my house. His father speaks Spanish. I mostly speak English, and then my mother, who was born in Haiti, actually speaks Creole. So there are 3 languages in the house. And so when I did the language survey for my son, I had checked off all the languages that were in the house, and it caused like a huge delay to get him evaluated, because they were saying they wanted to evaluate him in 3 languages to see like what what language he learned the best or knew the best. And so there was like a huge delay with getting him evaluated again for the district because of that. But I didn't really understand why, because he had already been in speech therapy, and it was in English. He was getting his therapy in English, and I explained to them the primary language that he speaks and understands the most is English. But again, they made a huge deal about that. But anyway, eventually I was able to get him evaluated. Last week I went to an evaluation. I took him to the actual place instead of them coming to the house, because last year when he turned 2, they came to the house and evaluated him. But this year with the district, they had us bring him to the facility, and they sat down, they played with him, they asked me a bunch of questions about him and what my concerns were. And he's made a lot of progress since he was 2, since his last evaluation. Now that he's 3, he knows so much. Like, he can really like identify so many things. Like, when I read with him, he can point and identify like a majority of the things that he sees in a book. He knows his numbers, his 1 through 10. He probably knows past 10. He knows all his colors, his ABCs, and when he watches TV, he can recite a lot of the things that he sees on the TV. He's able to understand a lot, but he's just not at the point where he can have conversation yet. So a lot of his speaking is just him basically repeating what you say. He's like a parrot. So whatever you say, he just spits back out at you. So if you say hi, he says hi. You say bye, he says bye. If you say what is this, he'll say what is this. So basically, I had Googled this before. So when he went to see the speech therapist, she said that he has echolania, which is, you know, it's common for autistic kids to have it, but obviously that doesn't mean just because he has echolalia, he's autistic. So she just said it's part of, like, you know, it's part of development in children. It's very common, but she said it's a little bit difficult to get rid of because it's like they're just basically saying what you're saying. They're not really communicating with you, you know? So in terms of, like, his speaking, even though he can say a lot of things, it's like he doesn't really communicate back and forth. So that's pretty much my concern, that, you know, he doesn't ask for things. He doesn't really say your name. Like, he knows that I'm his mom, but he doesn't really come up to me and say mom a lot. If he wants something, he hands it to me. He won't say, like, mom, I want milk, you know. He won't say, mom, what is this? Like, everything is just, he identifies things, and he repeats after you. And that's pretty much where he's at now. So, I had him evaluated twice. One was a psychological examination for a psychological evaluation for the district, and the other one was speech. So right now I'm waiting to see when we're gonna have the meeting. They have to call me to update me for when we're gonna have the meeting, where we're all gonna sit down together and write up his IEP and basically figure out what his goals are gonna be for this year. And, you know, they're gonna let me know where they think he's at, what they recommend for him, what they think that he needs this year to, you know, get him some help. What, you know, I know he's going to qualify because he's very delayed. So I know he's probably going to qualify for speech. It's just going to be how much speech he's going to get, how often, and where he's going to go to get, you know, get the speech from, like where I'm going to be bringing him to, driving him to. So we'll see. I'm really hoping that he gets more than 30 minutes, because when he was getting 30 minutes of speech, it felt like so little. And I spoke to the speech therapist, and she's like, you know what, it feels like so little, but because they're so young, they only have so much of an attention span. So it's like I would drive like 20 minutes to bring him to speech, and he'd only be there for 30 minutes. But if you think about it, he's only absorbing like so much, you know? So even though 30 minutes feels like a short period of time for me, because by the time I drop him off, I'm like, I go grab a cup of coffee and then he's ready to be picked up again. You know, it felt like so little time. But when I spoke to the therapist, she's like, no, like, even though it doesn't feel like a lot of time for us adults, it's a lot for them because they're little. So it's like they're only going to absorb so much in those sessions. So he was going twice a week last year, and then of course he was getting the special instruction once a week. So he was getting like 30-minute sessions a week. So like about an hour and a half of therapy a week. I'm hoping he gets more, but again, you know, if he's not going to benefit from getting more, then they're just going to give me what he's going to benefit from. So I understand he's still little. So and also because his birthday is in December, he's probably not going to start kindergarten until he's 5, because his birthday is December 17th. So he misses the cutoff for like when he starts kindergarten. So by the time he starts kindergarten, he's going to be 5 in like that September, and then he's going to be 6 like that same year. So he's basically going to be like probably the oldest in his class, which I'm fine with because he's already so delayed, you know. And then I was speaking to the therapist too, and she's like, that's a good thing. Like, you don't want your son to be the youngest in the class, because, you know, it makes a huge difference at that age, those few months, you know. So he's probably not going to, you know, he's going to be getting like a good solid 2 years of like therapy through the district, like speech therapy and whatever else he qualifies for. He's going to be getting that for 2 years before he starts kindergarten. So right now I'm just waiting for, you know, the appointment for the meeting and everything, and then hopefully by the time April comes, he could start like some sort of program, you know. I'm ready to get him started again, because it's been like, what, 4 months almost, 3.5 months that he's been without any sort of therapy. So I'm hoping to get him in something soon. Hopefully they call me soon and we can get the ball rolling, because I feel like I waited so long for like that evaluation. So somebody was calling me. So yeah, I feel like I waited so long to, you know, get him evaluated, because like basically like 3 months went by, because he had his last therapy. His last therapy session was in December, right before his birthday, and then basically January, February, I was waiting for them to call me, and then it finally happened in March, the evaluation. So yeah, I'm just waiting for them to reach out, and then we're gonna move forward with the, with the therapies and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm very happy with my son's progress so far. I know that he's gonna be I know that he's gonna be improving as time goes by, and I just don't have as many, like, I'm not gonna say I don't have as many concerns, but like, when my son wasn't speaking at 2, like, I just thought it was the end of the world. And now that, he's made like so much progress, and I see that like he's getting there slowly but surely, and he's doing all of the things that other kids do. It's just taking him a little bit more time. It's just giving me a lot of hope. And I just want to tell other mothers, other parents out there, if your child has any sort of delay, or if the doctor suspects something is wrong, just, even though it's scary and it's so worrisome, just know that everything is gonna work out eventually, and everything is gonna be okay. Just be patient, and realize that every kid is different, and everybody reaches certain levels at their own time. So yeah, basically my son is, he's coming along. Basically, we're just working now on like conversations, and I'm trying to get him to be more independent. I'm gonna start with the potty training soon. I know that's gonna be interesting. I bought him a potty the other day, so I'm gonna start potty training him soon. And I've been just basically trying to get him to do more things on his own, like getting dressed on his own, eating on his own, things like that. There's a lot of things that he can do by himself, but I tend to baby him a lot, so that's one thing I've been working on as a mother, just kind of letting him do his thing and letting him be more independent, because when he starts preschool, which probably is going to be like in a year, I don't know if, I don't know when he's going to start preschool. I don't know if it's going to be in a year or sooner, but I want him to be, independent, and I don't want him to be one of those kids that you could just tell their parents do everything for them. So, but yeah, this is the update on my son. Oh, also another thing that the therapist had brought up was like a sensory processing disorder, and I actually Googled that the other day, and a lot of the things that I saw really does remind me of my son. He does have a lot of sensory issues, so I don't know if he has, like, I really don't know what my son has. He might be autistic, he might have something else. Either way, we're working on the speech, which is really the biggest concern, that he's speech delayed. So that's what we're working on, and we're just taking it one day at a time. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little update, since I kind of started the journey of talking about his delays and everything on here. So that's the update. I'm gonna go. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.